Local Pro, you guys are doing good, having a good week, ready for the weekend, guys. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys in America. Really celebrating that. We don't really have that holiday over here, but I had a turkey sandwich today. Thought about you guys, so hopefully that's enough to show my appreciation to the American culture. Hope you guys are doing good nevertheless. Today we're going to check out what it takes to feed the LSU football team. Yeah, talking about turkeys. So college football, Louisiana State University. Let's see what these guys are eating. If you guys want to support me, leave a like down below. Comment what you guys want to see. Don't be sure to subscribe. And if you really want to support me, why don't you just drop a little bit of a tip down there in the link in the description. Makes my life, makes every video, everything so much easier. Without further ado, guys, let's dive right into the video.
To achieve success as an athlete, it's imperative that you train your mind and body for play. But one underestimated element is training your eating habits. And on this episode, we're jumping in the kitchen at LSU to see how they harness the power of food to help fuel their athletes' goals. I'm Leland, welcome to Sports Dissected, the series.
Let's go. Oh, mac and cheeseburgers.
Hi guys, so I'm here with Chef Michael Johnson at LSU. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. First and foremost, how do you fuel the guys to get this kind of stuff? Get some of this hardware behind us?
You know, it really starts with the sourcing and where we get our ingredients from. I think that's one of the most important parts. You know, like we buy a lot of local ingredients so that it's not traveling from all over the United States, coming from Louisiana crops and farms. The proteins that we source are antibiotic-free, hormone-free proteins.
Like that.
All clean stuff. Obviously, supporting the fisheries is super important. I mean, shrimp and seafood here is a huge industry, and so if we're buying seafood from overseas or from California, we're not supporting our community. And I think with that family culture, it's all about community.
I just gotta say, I think it's so a good point this guy is saying, because when it comes to like everything from bodybuilding, sports, you know, building like a good physique, so many people are just focusing on like the protein, the fats, and the carbohydrates, like just the macronutrients. You really gotta think about what quality of the food is. Like if you're eating meat from like that has like just tons of chemicals in it, you know, processed, all that stuff, it's not gonna be good for you. You just can't trust that just because you're eating 20 grams of protein, it's 20 grams of good protein, because if it's ultra processed food, man, it's bad for you. Get some clean, good food out there. Get some fresh steaks, get some fresh chicken breast, you know, none of that processed stuff. I really like this guy. He has a good point.
You mentioned kind of earlier off camera that this facility was built in 2019.
Wow.
What specifically do you have your hands in building and putting together the kitchen?
So I actually was in the building, watching the building be built. They hired me in April of 2019. This was a big piece of the focus for Nutrition Center. It's stepping forward into the idea that sports nutrition is super important for athletes and buying into that. I helped design where the equipment went and watched the build and made corrections. And that to me was a super important part of it, because I take a lot of pride and invest a lot of energy into watching it happen. And watching it happen kind of gives you inspiration onto what you want to accomplish with it.
True.
We seat 167 athletes. We have 3 meals a day, 2 to 3 hour meal periods, depending on the time of year. This is
25 chefs on the LSU nutrition staff fuel all 21 varsity sports of LSU athletics 3 times a day, 7 days a week. Every meal is served fresh daily. So 21 varsity sports. I guess that's 21 different teams. It can't be 21 different sports. That would be crazy, right? But 21 different teams of players, I would assume. Let me know in the comments down below.
It's one of the big selling points as a recruitment tool of when you come in and sit down at one of these family-oriented tables, you're not just sitting with your teammates. There's cross-communication amongst the sports.
Love that.
Cross-communication amongst the sexes, amongst races. It's really a melting pot of human
Cross-communication among the sexes. I really like that point.
beings, and it really has that family atmosphere. We don't really get a heavy rush of 167 people all at the same time. They kind of trickle in, trickle out. That allows us time to come out, socialize with them, get feedback about the food, interact with the student athletes, because you know it's building relationships. If we want to know whether they're enjoying it or whether there's something wrong or something's going good, we want to go out and force the interaction and have that moment with them and allow them a voice of what's going on with the food. So we do some fresh cooking. The pizza station's fresh. The sandwiches are fresh. Obviously, like the salad unit, that's kind of a buffet style.
Is that an avocado salad in there, or is it just plain salad leaves? Looks really nice. I like that blueberry blueberry, strawberry, spinach salad as well.
Oh, you know, they come up and it's self-service. We have ladies at the comfort station. They serve the food for the guests.
Is there a favorite station?
The comfort station is by and large one of the busiest.
Woo!
Depends on the time of the year and the
Damn!
athletes. One of the most important
Nice
things
chicken.
for us to do is offer variety. You know, lighter foods to heavier foods. Athletes that are on gain programs that are looking to gain lean muscle mass, and we have athletes that are
Wow.
on a lean program where they're looking to
I just gonna ask, is this free for the students?
lean out on fats. We have 5 dietitians that are each separated over, I think, 22 sports. And so each one of them has an amount of athletes that they have one-on-one conversations about how they achieve their goals.
You guys kind of gauge how many pounds of vegetables or meat that you guys kind of go through per year or per season?
Per year, it's a massive number. And there's also numbers that are interestingly low, like sugar. So we purposely remove sugar from the diet as much as
Nice.
possible. The average human being consumes like 25 pounds of sugar every year. Our athletes are only consuming like a cup and a half. We find substitutes. You can't just
Not sugar in this, by the way.
not have things that are sweet. So we use agave nectar, we use maple sugar, we use honey, we use dehydrated honey powder. And this is one of our dishes today. You know, we have a jacketed tilt kettle. In cooking techniques, you have moist heat and you have dry heat. Today,
So what it said here was that they are using agave syrup instead of sugar.
you know, we have a jacketed tilt kettle. In cooking techniques, you have moist heat and you have dry heat. So this is a moist heat cooking technique technically because it's surrounding that kettle with steam and it's not allowing it to get over 250 or 300 degrees inside that chamber, and so it's not going to brown, it's not going to burn. It is a moist heat cooking. And so we
Nice.
make a lot of soups. The etouffee was made in there, a lot of stews and stuff like that. We have a cold smoker as well, which I love. You can smoke cheeses, you can smoke fish without it actually cooking and heating. You're just imparting the flavor of the smoke. So outside, a hot smoke is getting
Wow, love that.
getting over 140, 160.
So good.
We smoke at 180, 190, sometimes higher than that for hot
Bro, how crispy does those wings look though?
smoking. So we're actually trying to cook the product at that point. This allows us to smoke things without cooking it, to chill it, and then we can cook it the next day. This is a
Amazing.
digester. In the world of sustainability, this is an important piece of equipment. So instead of us taking food scraps and putting it into the trash can, that going out to a dumpster, attracting pests and rodents and making an awful smell, we put pre-consumer products into the Orca. And this is a bacillus bacteria injected aerobic process. It handles about 250 pounds in a 24-hour period, and it goes out in the form of gray water through the drain. That goes
Wow.
to our grease trap and helps maintain the health of our grease trap. And instead of us having to clean the grease traps 3 or 4 times a year, we only have to clean them once or twice a year.
So there's very little waste in this
Great.
kitchen.
We've reduced our footprint going out the door to waste by about 90%.
That's insane.
One thing that I really enjoy
Right.
what we do here is we make fresh pizza. We shred our own cheese. We make our own sauce from scratch. We stretch our own doughs, and it shows in the product. We use Italian tomatoes. It's one of the few things that I do import and buy cans is Italian tomatoes because of the quality. We shred cheese daily. By us shredding it every day, you're getting a moisture-rich cheese that melts nicely. You see how fluffy and light it is?
Yeah.
You know, that just offers to the quality of the pizza.
You guys are prepping this for tomorrow, so is that the whole week you're always prepping for the day?
Absolutely. If we have a large piece of meat that we're cooking on Monday, we're pulling it out today so that it's thawing naturally. We don't like running things underwater because it rushes the process, right? And water can deteriorate the quality of the food. Sometimes when you stuff something, you'll put one big log in the middle, if you will, and wrap the meat around it and then truss it. Another way is to lay a thin layer or a relatively thin layer across all of it and then roll it so that it kind of has a spiral stuffing to it.
That's
And it,
nice.
You know, it creates something kind of pretty inside. Another
Yeah,
important piece of
bet.
what he's doing there is you want to make sure that the stuffing is even all throughout so that the loin is even all throughout. If you get a thick end of the loin and a thin end of the loin, one end is going to be undercooked, the other end is going to be overcooked when the center of the loin is at its done, right?
I plan on just like searing it hard on the top, get like a nice color on it.
I just gotta ask you guys about pizzas in general. Do you guys have fries on pizza over here? It's very normal to have fries on pizza.
When I finish cooking in the oven, I'm gonna cut slices. It's gonna be in a pan.
If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. It goes like for every pizza, especially like, you know, the ones with like pepperoni or kebab. It's amazing.
Nice, and drizzle my sauce on top of it.
You're gonna be ready.
Oh, it's gonna be
Do you kind of cook off of a feel?
most definitely, I think you have to.
For sure.
Especially if you love what you do, you know, it's all part of the feeling of passion for what you're doing.
True,
All right,
man.
so Major, what's the first step?
True.
Pretty much, I mean, you got it all laid out for you, so I'll grab the seasoning, get the seasoning like all sides of it.
You're gonna season the whole inside of it. Just kind of bring it up and sprinkle it. So when you're seasoning, if you lift it up higher, you know, like you can kind of make it rain,
Yes.
so to speak. Like you get a better spread. The closer down here, you get concentrated areas of seasoning. If you hold it up here, you get.
Bro, who knew? Like, if I told myself 1 year ago, that's 1 year from now, you're going to sit and you're going to look at how a university in Louisiana, in USA, is seasoning their pork, bro, I would flip.
More spread.
But here we are.
The bread stuff.
So what you're trying to do is form one uniform size all the way across kind of lump of stuffing there.
That's right.
That's a cool technique.
Both sides at the same time. There you go. Now grab the middle. There you go. There. Just keep doing that. Working from the inside out. That's okay. If it falls out, it's fine.
Looks really good.
All right. There it is. There it is.
So yeah, it's good.
Bro, just throw that one into like a big baguette, some garlic sauce in there, bro, and I'm happy. I'm happy with that.
That was a damn good job.
All right, Chef. So, how did you even get to this position? Like, and how can kids kind of aspire to even become a chef?
Damn, that
It
looks
takes a
good.
lot of determination. You know, working up from the bottom of a kitchen to come up to executive chef.
The executive chef position, a person who oversees prep work and ensures that all meals leaving the kitchen are consistent in presentation and quality, is a fairly new role in the world of college sports. Interesting.
Caliber, you know, you have to set yourself aside from the pack. You have to work harder, be willing to put the hours in the kitchen when other people aren't. Developing leadership qualities and paying attention to the leaders above you and how they manage people and care for people. I see myself as a supportive role for my team and just helping them facilitate the things that they're trying to accomplish.
Little applaud for Michael, man. He seems like a good guy. Seems like he got the kitchen going, the whole restaurant going, man. Nice
In
guy.
1999, I was living in Baton Rouge. I got my culinary degree here, graduated, went out into the local Baton Rouge environment and met a woman, a girl at that point actually. We had kids, got married, had more kids, and ended up chasing my career back to Kansas City, where I was originally from. Worked there for 6 years, kind of built my career up to a point where I was kind of hitting a stagnant point in Kansas City. And the company that I was working for recognized that I was putting in the hard work, and they gave me a promotion to Seattle to work for the Seattle Mariners. That's kind of where I really started honing what I would call previous to that slow food field cooking, which was developed by the Italians, into that farm to table, sustainable kind of mindset of a chef. Major League Baseball has 81 home games. At some point I worked 65 days in a row of 18-hour shifts, and
Crazy.
I wasn't seeing my family, I wasn't seeing my kids, I wasn't seeing my wife, and
This guy really meant it when he said that he put in the hours.
she grew tired of it, and our marriage fell apart.
Oh,
So
man.
she moved back to Baton Rouge with the kids because this is where her support system was.
Bro.
I had been looking for work down here, but going from the caliber of being a large stadium chef to being a restaurant chef, there's a large gap there in lifestyle, if you will. Then I went to work for the Seahawks, and
Impressive.
I developed a lot of relationships there with local chefs who I got to pick their brains for philosophy and kind of, you know, closer, more deeply understand, you know, who I wanted to be as a chef.
But did he get back together with his wife, or what happened, bro?
It was super painful for me to, you know that they were needing me and wanting me here, and I hadn't been able to accomplish that. 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm pulling my hair out, I'm really stressed out. I get on to Indeed, I typed in executive chef Baton Rouge, and the first job that pops up is LSU. I uploaded my resume, and this is at 4 o'clock in the morning, mind you. And at 10 o'clock in the morning, I get an email saying, would you like to talk about salary requirements? Are you available to talk
Yes,
with me
sir.
today? And I was actually in the airport flying back to Seattle that day, walking, when I get a phone call from a friend of mine that I haven't talked to in 10 years. And he picks up the phone and says, hey, is this Mike Johnson? I'm like, yeah, this is Mike Johnson. What are you doing, dude? Like, we haven't talked in forever. Long story short, I just got a phone call from a buddy of mine. Did you just apply for a job in Baton Rouge? And I was like, this was 6 hours ago, and he lives in Atlanta. How the hell
Crazy.
did you know that I applied for that position? We had a friend, a similar friend that was working here, saw my resume come through and called him and said, hey, is this Mike Johnson? On February 14th, on Valentine's Day of that year, I came down, did a cooking practical, did my interview, and they made me an offer right there. The funny thing is I was still wearing my chef jacket, and I went over to pick up my kids, and I had my Seattle Seahawks chef jacket on. My kids were like, Dad, why are you in your chef clothes? And so I got to tell them on Valentine's Day that day that I was moving to Baton Rouge, and it was
What a moment.
it was an emotional moment. My first year here was 2019.
What a magical year.
Holy cow. I mean, it was incredible. LSU is an incredible place. The culture here is incredible. Administration, the atmosphere, the weather, the fishing. You know, like I love living here. This is my home and this is my family.
Shout out to our partners at the Game Day. The Game Day is
Oh yeah, bro, that was a crazy video. I really hope that Michael got to back together with the love of his life, or that he's out there, you know, getting lucky in other ways. Anyway, nice to be back reunited with your kids. Gotta love that. Probably every man's dream at that point, especially if your marriage falls apart and they move across the country. So nice job, Michael. Seems like the restaurant is going good. You huge inspiration, I think. A lot of other guys out there who's chasing their dreams should take some inspiration. This guy has been all over the country doing his stuff, chasing that dream, getting to where he wanted to be. He should be really proud. And LSU looks interesting. I like that kitchen. I bet that's probably why you guys are so successful, because, you know, performance can only be such as good as the nutrition behind it. That's just how it is. Let me know in the comments down below, guys, if what you want to see in the next time. Are there other universities you want me to check out? Similar videos like this, other college teams, whatever in sports, or even professionals. Let me know. Leave a like as well down below if you haven't done it. Support the channel, subscribe, and I will catch you guys around in the next one.